Hello, 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 hello.
Land back, everybody. Land back, Comrade Jorly.
Lamb back, Chief Toby. How are you today?
It's Thursday. We almost through another week of colonialism whipping us.
We almost
So
there. We almost there though. That's what matters.
amen. Got your hair all up and out.
You know how it is. It's humid, it's cold. My afro was not cooperating, but we gotta do what we gotta do.
Just beautiful, beautiful.
You.
So welcome everybody. We're here for another week of Reclaim My Culture. We have one. This is our penultimate show. Okay, one more show after this, which is going to be the season finale. I can't believe Thanksgiving. That's like the Thanksgiving episode, I guess, right? So,
Yes, that's right.
dang.
That's right. We gotta show off like fierce. My fro's gonna be out that day, you feel me? We gotta get our groove on that day, Toby. You feel me?
I feel it. I feel it. So, um, as we do every week on this show, but not just this show, all of our shows really, and our programming, such as our Tuesday night rallies. We want to let people know about Hammer City. Most of y'all probably know, but we have new viewers all the time. She growing, BHO out here growing,
Growing.
being the point working class colonized people who are looking for the solution to what is ailing us. The solution to our condition.
That's right.
So yes, so help us build Hammer City. What is Hammer City, you might ask? So this is Black Hammer's answer to the land
Lamb.
question, which is at the center of the colonial question, which is at the center of sorry, I got distracted by something, which is at the center of everything that is, the core of the contradiction of what is ailing us as a people, as our various nations within the colonized nation overall, right? Which is everybody who ain't white. So, as we're saying here, we're building a city for all people of color to be free of discrimination, all forms of discrimination, because this is in line with our principle of unity number 2, which holds that all colonized people are equal, no matter race, gender, sexuality, gender identity, mental, physical differences, etc. We need to be united. These divisions were imposed upon us by the colonizer, who knew that a divided people can never unite against the colonizer because they're too busy fighting amongst themselves. So we done with that. In Black Hammer, in Black Hammer, and in Hammer City specifically, we are about jobs, housing, food, healthcare. There will be no cops. You know, that's a colonial imposition. That is a way to protect white wealth, the white ruling class, and we won't have that in Hammer City. Like we won't have white people, which is part of the 4 things we won't have: no cops, no rent, no white people, and the coronavirus, right? Why no rent? I mean, it's a cute thing to say. It's very catchy. It draws the girls, but it's more so a commitment to our principle of being anti-homelessness and seeing housing as a human right. The only way to really assure that is to get rid of the landlord, who is the middleman, and reaping the profits off of access to property that really everybody should have access to, and it should not be apportioned, divvied up according to ability to pay.
That's right.
So that's what that's about. And and then no coronavirus, which is there are strategies to do that. We have our protocols that we have set up and thought through, such as mandatory quarantine before coming into Hammer City. It's all very possible. Some countries, such as our siblings out in Southeast Asia, have been successfully protecting their populations from coronavirus. So if you have the will to do it, you can. The U.S. has not demonstrated that will, and they are not the model.
That's right. Period.
Yes. And then, so let's see. The one big thing I want to say about this is also returning the land to the indigenous people. You can't be truly anti-colonial without addressing that issue of whose land is it, right? And so we have our Land Liberators Council, who is over the entire Hammer City project, making sure that this project is overseen, really directed and approved by people who are Indigenous and who already unite with the four principles of unity of Black Hammer and what Black Hammer and Hammer City are all about.
That's right.
Yeah, build over here.
Yes.
Chief Lay. All right.
And for donations, Toby, how much are we trying to get tonight?
I almost forgot. We trying to get $100. That's our goal.
Right. I should
have started off with that. Thank you. Thank you. Caught me slipping. So let's get those donations. We're going to be raising the funds throughout this entire episode. And you can go to GoFundMe.com. You can see our progress there. Last I checked, over 43K. Okay. This is to furnish the down payment for the land and then ultimately to pay off the entire land. And as you know, we're going to be in Florida, where us beautiful African and colonized people will be flourishing under that sun, getting that vitamin D, and with amazing flora and fauna, the fresh fruits and vegetables that can be grown in that climate down there.
Ashe, yes.
And for those of us with seasonal affective disorder, we won't be suffering from SAD down there because we get that sunlight.
Period, Chief. Period.
And yeah, you can go to the Cash App and also Venmo. I already said GoFundMe.
Donation, y'all. Can I see a 5? Come on, y'all.
Yeah, who trying to donate? $100. Let's break it down for us. We can do, if 10 people give $10, then we're there at the goal. If 5 people want to give 20, can y'all give 20?
Yes.
Okay. I haven't given in a minute. I'm gonna give 10 as well. I haven't given in a little minute. She's been going through some stuff. But Toby giving 10 as well.
Another 10, yes.
You already did it. Said donated past 10s. Thank you.
20 so far, Chief. 20 so far.
30. We got Lay, we got me, and we got.
Hey, yes.
30% there. So I'm gonna do mine after the show, and let me make sure.
Por favor, donar por nuestras causas para ayudar a nuestra comunidad. That's right. Please, let's donate for this cause and help our community. Yes, Ren. Ashe. Again, Cash App info is BuildHammerCity. Venmo as well, BuildHammerCity. GoFundMe, GoFundMe.com/BuildHammerCity, y'all. Let's get this money. Let's get this land back. We have 5, yes.
Thank you, Chief Indu.
We got another 5 from Bella, yes.
First timer, welcome to the cause, Bella.
Yes. I'm excited, Chief. I'm excited.
I know we got at least 40 now, unless I missed anything. Because we got 3 10s and 2 5s, at least. So
that's right.
I think we want to at least start off strong, and I think that's a good start. And please, we're gonna do another reminder, at least one more during this show. Maybe we want to push it because we want to not keep this show going for too long total. What you think?
I agree with you, Chief. But it's now time to show us what you got. I'm really excited for our couple of guests that we have tonight, Chief. I don't know about you.
I'm real excited. This is going to be really great.
That's right.
So, okay. Actually, I forgot. This is my role. So we got a special guest that you already know if you've seen our post. We have Girasol, longtime BHO member, okay, joining us tonight. But in addition, we got 2 special surprises for you. We got family members of Girasol. We got Comrade Ren, and we got what we gonna call Mama Bear. So 3
Mama Bear.
These fabulous guests are joining us now. Hello.
Land back.
Saludos.
Land back. Saludos. A mi gente.
Yes, so bad. Bienvenidos.
Yes. Gino said good vibes, Girasol. Land back.
Gracias.
Muchas gracias.
So
Wow.
welcome. I
Yes,
love
you're
you.
great.
Thank you for having us here.
Gracias por invitarnos.
Yes.
Estamos muy
Right.
contentos de estar
I'm loving
aquí.
the outfits, y'all.
Thank you. Yes.
Yes.
So this was my dress from my sweet 15 that my mom made. And I am so proud because my daughter gets to use it now, Kaylin
Yes.
and Ren. And this is Panamanian hat that my sister gave it to
Love.
me. And it's so cute. And we always like supporting this is from Guayani culture. It's indigenous from Panama. And also this hat
Mola.
is called Mola.
Mola.
And we are just so proud to be a Panamanian. Also, Stephanie's showing a Mola too over there.
Yes.
So these
Yes.
were actually they would like use these as their language, like write to each other, communicate with the molas.
Wow.
It's beautiful.
That's
Para
beautiful.
comunicarse con las molas, sí.
How is
And what about the colors? Like, what do the colors represent?
Well, mostly the dress, I have the Panamanian flag on it, and also have a little bit of yellow because originally I'm from Colombia. I was born in Colombia. So white, blue, and red are from Panama, and a little bit of yellow from Colombia. I always told my daughters, I was born in Colombia, but I was raised in Panama. But I'm so proud of seeing my daughters like going through the indigenous. They showed me like how it's important to go visit our country, mostly anything, participate, look to see what they have, what they need, how do they build their culture. And it's so important to be part of my daughters. They know that they are very like familiar and very imposed to do all this for the community.
That's beautiful to hear that you
Yeah.
guys keep embracing your culture. Yes.
Yes. Hola, tía.
Pachamama.
Yes, tía. ¿Dónde está?
Viva la gente de Pachamama. Ashe. Ashe.
That's my aunt. Oh, hola tía.
Yeah.
Extraño.
so?
Amen. What about you, Girasol? How are you today? What are you wearing around your neck, Queen?
This is beadwork done by also indigenous Panamanians. These are my favorite colors too, so that's why I wore it.
Yes.
And I got my painting behind me. You know what I mean? I'm feeling good. Thank you for having us.
Yes. I'm more interested to see. What do you have behind you again? What type of artwork?
Oh, that's a painting. My room's messy, so I'm not gonna take you over there. But you can
Don't worry. I know we got some artwork.
Yes.
Up, so we're excited.
Yeah.
So over here we see Reina de México y Emperatriz de América.
Mm-hmm.
Can you tell us a little bit about this?
Yeah. So this is usually you might have seen like Virgen de Guadalupe, like the candles and things like that. Virgin
Can
Mary.
we say real quick? Can we say real quick? This is artwork that who has created?
Girasol herself.
I want to be clear because I thought it was from a museum when I first saw it. And people know this is by Girasol. Yes.
Thank you. Yeah, so the one on the left, that one's Comandante Ramona. So she was a Zapatista leader in Mexico. Well, Mexico, quote unquote, right? But she was an indigenous Zapatista leader. And yeah, so basically, me thinking about, these images like iconography of, religion and like, Catholic religion, and no shade to like Christianity or, if you practice and you're still revolutionary, you know what I mean? You're one of us, but we do have to think about, you know what I mean, who our idols are and, where they come from. And a lot of, you know what I mean, that Catholic iconography came from the Spaniards. So me thinking about, who we should actually be praying to, who we should actually be thinking about when we are in our spiritual moments, like connecting to our ancestors. So for me, those are, our revolutionary ancestors. And, Comandante Ramona was like so, oh my God, so powerful. Like they still have, and our Hammer City is going to be, we take inspiration from indigenous community, you know what I mean? Like liberated land in Mexico. So the Zapatistas have liberated land in Chiapas that they currently like. They build their own schools, they grow their own food, they're self-reliant. You know what I mean? They got their own governance, like things like that, their own laws. And there's even signs you go into there. It says like you on Zapatista land now. Like Mexico does not apply here. So yeah, I always thought that was so powerful. And this is a poster I made. I also made candles that instead of having like the religious iconography, I had our revolutionary, indigenous leaders on there. Yeah. So then the other one, I was kind of like thinking more about like, what I do that's like directly political, right? Like political posters and things like that. And then also what's like, by looking at it, it's like, oh, like you might not get a political message, right? But for me, like my art, that's also like my process. Like that's like my spiritual practice as well. Like two ways I feel most connected to the higher powers, like to my ancestors, is when I'm doing outreach and talking to people about Black Hammer and joining the revolution, and when I'm making art. Like that's when I'm in my my true like flow, like my meditative state. Like I just get so like I don't even see anything else, like, and it's just like complete freedom at the same time. I don't even know how to explain it, but it just makes me really happy. So yeah, just thinking about, even if something doesn't look political, for me, that process of connecting to myself and my ancestors is political.
That's so beautiful. Yeah, I think my way of like connecting, not in a political way, but like connecting back with like my mom's culture and like our culture is really by cooking. Like she teaches me like kind of a lot. Like she's taught me like arroz con pollo, sopa de res, all kinds of different pescado frito. Like we've like, I think definitely cooking is like my way of like not only like is it like a connection with like another person, but also just like reclaiming that culture of like cooking and like really like learning all these different ways that like we share food and also like eat different kinds of food and ways to cook it. So yeah, I just wanted to add.
I definitely agree with that, just because it's a form of not only reclaiming our culture but healing as well during these times. So it's a way, it's for us in Spanish, we say that it's terapia, it's therapy. It's therapy, it's healing, it's reclaiming our culture. And it's a way of keep us from, keeping the revolution and keeping, honor to our ancestors and to our land. So we appreciate it.
Yeah.
All right.
Ooh, more art.
Tell us about these ones, please, Girasol.
Yeah, she made both.
Wow, qué bonito, Steffi.
Gracias, mami.
Can you tell us a little bit about the one to the left?
Actually, I'm gonna start with the one on the right, just because the one on the left has like more. It's like weirder. Hola, Wendy. Hola, ¿cómo estás? That was my mom's friend. She has the best Dominican food in the area. I'm not gonna give you our location, but that food, oh my god, pescado con salsa de coco. Like it's so, it's so good. Anyway, Mom, what's the restaurant called? Latin. It's called Latin Flavor. So if you're in my area, you know who you are. Go to Latin Flavor. Right, Mom? That's what it's called.
Which one are you talking about? With Wendy?
Wendy.
Is that the name of the place? Latin Flavor?
Yeah. Latin Flavor. Latin Flavor. The best Dominican food.
Yes.
Got her name in it.
Okay, so anyway, going on. Yeah, so the one on the right, I actually did this for a Black Hammer promo back when I used to be in social media. Yeah, and like as I come more into the revolution and spend more time just like really like, oh my gosh, I don't know, that quote is so heavy. Like I remember reading that at first, like before I joined Black Hammer, and I was like, dang, like
wow, people
really be out here like nothing else, you know what I mean? Nothing else but the revolution. And then as I live it more and like I just see everything that connects back to it, and it's like my life's purpose. Like, I can't even imagine my life like if I wasn't in Black Hammer, I don't know what I would be doing. And so yeah, just by surrendering my life to the revolution, I found eternal life. You should really read that whole poem if you haven't read it. It's so beautiful. But yeah, so
suicide, right? Revolutionary suicide, I think.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I just,
Yeah, that's the book where it's from, and that specific poem is in that book. So then the one on the left, so that's what I'm working on now. It's not finished yet, so it still looks a little bit crazy. But this one was more like I actually had to, I had to write a big self-criticism. So, and I was kind of going through it, and I had to like take a hard look at myself and take a look at, the things that I've been through, like kind of just like what led me to where I was. And I was talking to Comrade Christina, our therapist, and I was like, you know what, let me have tea with my demons. Like, let me sit and have tea with myself. And I did this meditation. It was like an online thing. It said tea with your demons, and you're supposed to like face them, have a conversation. And to me, I was thinking about like the colonizer in my head, like me talking to myself and seeing that the colonizer in my head that kind of like pushes forward like liberalism, that pushes forward like us being selfish and just
Right.
chasing money, like chasing success and all these things, like that's the colonizer, right? But it's also me, like it sucks, but it's the colonizer, but it's you know what I mean, it's within me. And so we have to really take that hard look and have those hard conversations with ourselves, but at the same time you got to be gentle. So that's why we got the tea, we chilling. And then the two paintings on the wall, like they were paintings that I lost in a fire. So just also me like coming to terms with what it means, like, and everything can be brought back to the revolution, really.
Right.
But when we're thinking about, letting go of loved ones who have died, but also like people that you thought in your life that was like lifting you up. But when you're focused on one thing, right, and you're focused on the revolution, and we're building a whole city. Like that's the only thing we could do. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, like that's got to be your whole life's purpose. Like that's what I have to focus on. So when you're starting to let go of people, and that kind of reminded me of letting go of paintings, like letting go of something beautiful that you made, but you have to, you know what I mean, keep it pushing. And like, yeah. Anyway, I'm ranting, but there's a whole lot of layers to that painting, and I'm still working on it. And I've been working on it for like 4 months, even though it's like this big. Like it's really tiny, but it's kind of been this whole process of like me really like, I don't know, coming to terms with a lot of things. So
And it's so interesting because I was wondering as you were speaking, those two painting on the sides, I'm like, are those paintings that she already has done and she wants to resurface in this current painting, or what's this narrative behind it? So it's interesting to hear that it's a way of you tratando de recuperar esas pinturas. It's a way of you trying to get back those paintings. And it's so personal and it's so intimate. So it's interesting to see. Yes, inspiring. It's so inspiring to seeing how you find little ways of, not only letting go, but also maintaining things that you have lost from the past.
I'm glad you said that, Jorly, because I didn't even notice the one on the left
Yes.
wall there. Yeah.
Yeah, those paintings were beautiful, like so beautiful. They were centerpieces in our house, like they were gorgeous. So yeah, I also did not notice the one on the left, but the one on the right, like the way that Girasol made it, it was like textured, like it wasn't just a flat painting, and you could tell like that it took so much time and love. So
should I ask about the sunlight coming through? Was that sunlight streaming through? And then there's a person sitting on the floor. Should I ask about that?
yeah, so the sunlight, I mean, I guess for me it's like, well, okay, wait, I'm not allowed. There's some things I can't say online and in front of my mom. But there was no, there's just been times, you know what I mean, where you're really, really appreciative of just nature. And that's what I do with my art too, like just reconnecting with nature and reconnecting, with my ancestors, but like through nature. Like a lot of my paintings have a lot to do with that. So, in times when like I'm super depressed or like I don't want to get out of bed, you know what I mean? I could just step into the sun and I'm like, dang, I remember why I'm here. Like, I remember why I'm doing this, you know what I mean? And I think that's like the power of, nature. That's the power of our ancestors. And like, they've sent us messages through a lot of different, ways. And I think if you can, just look out the window for a second. If you ever start to lose your way, you look out the window for a minute and then you're like, dang, okay. You know what I mean? I got it back. So.
Okay.
Thank you for sharing, Girasol.
And I want to just say real quick, because I think we need to move on to the next one, but like so Girasol has like been, even I've seen you contribute art to like our raffle. What do you call those? The raffles we do. So your art has been everywhere in the organization. Really, just appreciate that artistic presence in Black
And
Hammer.
if anyone wants to like get prints, you know what I mean, I'm gonna donate that to Black Hammer, to the Hammer City. So you see anything you like, also I can DM you. I got a lot more art, so
I'll be DMing you, Girasol.
thank you. Yes, I'm excited. I'm excited to make more work for the. I'm gonna put something in that zine. I still haven't, but I promise you. You know, Chiefin has been in my DMs like, oh, like, girl, why have you not like, why have you not submitted to the zine? I'm like, I don't know what to put in. Like, there's so many things. So
Ooh.
I'm gonna do that too.
We're excited. We're excited for that.
All
Now
right.
it's time for show us what you got. Time to spill that tea, that tea, mamas. It's time.
So y'all can join us for this segment. Every week we just discuss some of the current events or things happening. Oh, that's not what's happening. That's the next one. I'm so sorry. I got ahead of myself. Well, we have a schedule. Go, let's go.
You're just gonna skip my whole revolutionary action.
Toby said, and all right, Comrade Girasol. So can you tell us a little bit about the Northeast region and the work that you do down there?
Yes, so I'm currently in the tri-state chapter. Like, oh my gosh, so it's crazy how it came about. Really, like Black Hammer, you know what I mean, started a little under 2 years ago, but really the tri-state chapter was one of the first chapters that was established, and that it was literally me in the Black Hammer Rebels group, and I was like, who else is nearby me? And people came, you know what I mean, they're like, oh, I'm here, and then we just started a chapter, and it just popped up. And this picture on the left is from when Chief Ghazi came and we did a coat drive. Oh my gosh, that day was like one of the best days of my life. Like we were giving out stuff, and as we were giving stuff out, people were dropping things off, and so we like had like, I don't even know, like 20 bags of a great warm clothes to give out to people, and people were so like appreciative, like, you know what I mean, like you could see that fedora mommy, that little kid with the fedora in the middle, like he got the fedora and that was from us. Like so yeah, it was just so beautiful. But yeah, we pass out masks now. Well, we're actually gonna do a coat drive in like next month, so
Wow.
be on the lookout for that. And you can donate to Tri-State Chapter to support that coat drive. We're also going to be giving out hygiene kits, so like toothbrushes, soap, and everything like that to people who need it. And we want to buy like emergency blankets, like the heat reflective ones, because it's going to get really
getting cold.
Right. And evictions and things like that are going up, like unemployment's going up. So like we know our people need it.
Right.
Yeah. Land back.
Land back.
Thank you so much.
¿Puedo decir algo de cómo me siento de tener
Vamos, mamá, pero habla, dale.
She's like, can I talk now?
No. So I want to say it in English, in Spanish, and trying to do it in English too. So I just want to say, thank you, God, for giving me these two beautiful daughters and for them to enjoy Black Hammer, because I think it's the best, tener nuestras tierras para atrás. Al ver a mis hijas, como ellas, the way they, do all these good things for people, hacer estas cosas para las personas que lo necesitan, como las personas indígenas, los de color, personas que realmente lo necesitan. Es muy importante y me deja mucho de pensar de mis hijas en el corazón y mi tierra, Panamá y Colombia, que siempre estamos ahí, siempre estamos pendientes de nuestras culturas y estoy muy orgullosa de ella. I'm very proud of you guys. It's just like reuniting all this stuff for them and giving out to people in Wilmington, in Philadelphia. They always get together, and it's a family thing to do, I think. And I feel good.
Yeah,
Thank you.
So the translation is roughly like, she's really proud of us for all the work that we do, and she's like happy that there's like a really strong connection between us and like other colonized people, and and we're really doing work for like indigenous people as well, and like we're really trying to like do things to like change the world basically. And so she's just proud of us overall.
And back.
Land back. That was beautiful.
I'm back.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mama. Te amo.
Te amo también.
Y'all gonna make me cry. Hold on. Oh boy, it's time for our celebrity distraction.
So y'all go and join us for this. This is what I was trying to do earlier, and I was off. So every week we go through current events and what's going on. Sometimes it's celebrities, sometimes it's just like interesting current stories in the news, or neo-colonial sellouts and colonizers. So let's get into it. Okay, so our first story this week. Oh, and let's just we like to do every week. We try to like highlight a principle of unity from Black Hammer that really sort of like touches the most on our stories. And okay, so this week I was actually thinking we would go with which one was it? The one about yes, the true um, all colonized people must have dictatorship over our land, lives, labor, and resources, right? So a lot of these stories will tap into that because we're going to be looking at how the fact that we don't have power and control over our lives, land, labor, and resources has all of these really disgusting, harmful effects on our mental health, on our climate, and so many aspects of our lives. And this story here is a good example of that. And that is principle of unity number 1, that we must have dictatorship over our land, lives, labor, and resources. All right, so this story is about a two-spirit indigenous filmmaker you need to know. His name is Fox, and his short films are montages of a singular Native American life knit together in seamless motion, as if they captured consciousness itself. And so he was saying in this article that he was an outsider in part because he was surrounded by the culture of white supremacists, carrying on their own ancestral tradition of racism. I just want to add too, because I was reading this story and it went into his experience. He was actually adopted. They didn't say by white people, but I was kind of reading in between the lines, and he was in a white town, and with all these racist white people. I figure, and he didn't know his own culture. So I think it was probably white people. I hate when articles leave out like really just relevant information. I was like, why didn't you say the race of the parents who adopted him? So yeah. Anyway, and in this quote, he says, "I grew up with either white kids or Mexican kids, and 90% of the white kids were white power affiliated. I'm used to people saying "ew" at the sight of me, or telling me to wash my skin, or refusing to be in an enclosed space with me. I was used to racism and rage from an early age. All I knew was that I was a freak." So this was just really powerful story. This person talked about how he grew up basically suicidal, having suicidal ideation from a young age through much of his life. I'm hearing some feedback. I don't know if y'all are hearing anything like that, any echoing or feedback.
No.
Okay, good. And it was through one way was through the power of filmmaking that he was able to sort of push past that and see beauty in the world, and gain self-confidence and see beauty even in himself, and have a connection to his nation, because he also discovered he found his own parents at one point, reconnected with them, and also started reconnecting with his nation. And I know that we have, even in Black Hammer, we have comrades who have been adopted, who are colonized, of course, because they're members of Black Hammer. So we know they colonized, but they were adopted by white people, and they also grew up not having any connection with their colonized nation, and the pain of not having that connection, only knowing sort of like this white culture, which can be very racist in very insidious ways. And so that story really spoke to me, and I really appreciate that story for how this filmmaker really like laid that out.
I honestly, this story reminds me of Girasol, because like I feel like we were really like even though we grew like we have our mama and everything, like all of your family's in Panama. So like we were like to reconnect with our family, like it was only through her. And so when our parents got divorced, it was very hard for us to like continue. Like I feel like it was hard. We were even more displaced after that. So or not displaced, but like it was harder for us to connect with through her. But yeah, and then Ida Soul started doing like all kinds of art. Like she's been doing art since like I don't even know. Like she would redraw like SpongeBob over and over again until it was exactly right. Like they've been doing art for a very long time, and but I think like more recently or like the past few years, like really since college, like it's really gotten political. It's really gotten about the culture. It's really gotten about like reclaiming that through art. And so yeah, I really appreciate that story as well, just because it's like I don't know, I relate it and I can see the like some similarity between Girasol and
Yeah,
stuff.
definitely. And it reminds me of Principal Unity number 2, which I'm going to read in Spanish real quick because y'all should know it if you've been watching English or look it up. But nosotros creemos que toda la clase de trabajadores colonizados somos iguales. No importa su género, sexualidad, religión, idioma, diferencias mentales o físicas o identidad bi o multirracial. ¿Racial? ¿Sí se dice?
Multiracial, yes.
Okay, yeah. So this is basically, saying like we're all equal, whether or not you're, gay, bi, trans, gender non-conforming, but also bi or multiracial. So like, you know what I mean? Colonizers will make you feel that, oh, because I grew up with my white family or I'm mixed like me, you know what I mean? Then I don't have a place in the revolution, or like now I should just side with my oppressor. Like, nah, like, you know what I mean? And that's part of reclaiming my culture, is just saying like, you know what I mean? I will always stand with colonized people regardless of how, colonization tried to convince me otherwise. And so these divisions, of like homophobia, transphobia, but also, saying like, oh, you're this, you're mixed, or you grew up with your white parents, like it's that shit, or sorry, that stuff, that's all a form of colonization. My colonizer daddy wouldn't have been in Panama if it wasn't for colonization. So
That's right.
that's not my fault.
It's very true. Oh my goodness.
Ooh, we got another team. Mercenaries' own words. Documents detail Tiger Swan infiltration of Standing Rock. So it says the T is McCullough, working for the mercenary security firm Tiger Swan, was a key player in Energy Transfer's multi-state effort to defeat the resistance. Newly released documents reveal Tiger Swan took a militaristic approach to McCullough and his colleagues. The anti-pipeline movement was akin to the insurgencies the veterans had confronted in Afghanistan and Iraq. In line with that view, they deployed the same kinds of subversive tactics used in theaters of wars. I don't. I got my. No. I honestly. It takes me back to the first point of unity, which I'm going to read in Spanish, which goes: Nosotros creemos que el proletariado colonizado debe de dictar sobre nuestras propias vidas, labor, tierras y recursos. So basically, they literally view us colonized people standing up for ourselves, uprising, taking back what is rightfully belonging to our nation. So to the first point of unity, that's why we say land back, because it's us who have to make that decision. No one's to be making decisions over our lands and what's rightfully ours. So we just gotta keep fighting the power, y'all, and not resist to this bull crap.
Absolutely. I want to point out, like, this story, it really like pulled the curtain back on some things. Like, there was a very organized effort by like private corporations to protect their material interests, which was the land, belonging to our indigenous siblings, and they would stop at nothing. It said that they would use subversive tactics. They were willing to, and they did use subversive tactics used in theaters of war. So, literally viewing colonized people as enemy combatants. And this included spying on them, and also attacking independent press, like viewing independent press as enemy force, as well as, the indigenous activists. So this just really, should clarify to anybody who's still confused that this is very much a war-like situation. This is a war situation. Um,
Mhm.
and I just think it's funny that liberals will sometimes be so loud about how the U.S. supposedly has freedom of the press and is so upholds these like values, but like when you actually look at the real news,
Mhm.
these companies are attacking, with protection from the state. They're attacking independent journalists' efforts, to get information. They're really going in there and subverting their efforts. So yeah, something
But
to keep an eye on.
this is nothing new. This has been happening for so many years, and it's still an ongoing problem. Even, myself being from Puerto Rico, this is something that we constantly see, like in Caribbean and colonized islands. We see how they privatize or take their own companies to these colonized lands to profit, and then what about the locals? What about the people who owned that land before it got bought?
Yeah, exactly. And that's what happened in Panama también, like with the Panama Canal, like the US like basically like, being like, yep, this is our land and we're gonna build this and we're gonna profit from it. You gotta pay this amount for, to pass through and all the trading that comes from it, like that's ours. And, that's something beautiful that we've also like gotten from our mom is that she's also been like she was there like fighting against the canal and like really being like free Panama and like on all that, so when she was in high school. So that revolutionary like yeah, like we've gotten our revolutionary strength from her as well, so
We got it from our mama.
I know. I just want to say something. So, when I was in high school, I used to go to this school called Instituto Nacional of Panama. We usually fight for, the government always want to do the wrong thing. They always want to put the indigenous people on the side. We work for just what, 90 cents an hour,
Mhm.
and a dollar, and it was not fair. So my school is called, it's called
I'm going to
Instituto Nacional Revolutionary of Panama, because we always go on the street, make all these kind of things, and it was very feeling when Stephanie and Kelly told me they did really want to do this, and my brother, my sister, and they always told me, see, they get it for the blood. Your daughters are fighting like us, so they're very proud of her. Angela, I know you're watching, and yeah, thank you, because they are doing very good thing for the war, for
Mommy,
el mundo.
mommy, can you
That's
say
the
the
other
part? Can you say the part in Spanish just about like how you fought
part.
for taking the Panama Canal back from America?
Well, okay, so yo estaba en una escuela revolucionaria en Panamá y esto yo pienso que viene desde la sangre de mis hermanos, de la familia, porque mi mamá es igual, la abuelita de ellas, siempre peleando, siempre lo justo. ¿Ah?
I didn't know that abuelita también.
Sí, mi mamá también era así, ahora mi mamá no lo es, pero ella siempre es justa, mis hermanos, todos siempre estamos en este grupo en Panamá en la escuela, nos íbamos a la calle, peleábamos por la verdad, por la justicia de los indígenas, del canal de Panamá, de todo, y ahorita compartí esto con mi gente de Panamá, porque quiero que ellos vean yo estoy en un grupo de la escuela cuando estaba en esos tiempos y espero que me estén viendo, de que sí, mis hijas todos se llevan la sangre.
Eso corre en la sangre, sangre revolucionaria.
Sí, revolucionaria hasta el final.
Así mismo. Learn
Yeah.
I
that.
heard something about blood, but I didn't
That
get
it runs, it translates to revolutionary blood because it runs in from generation to generation to like keep fighting the power, keep the revolution going.
Yes.
Yes.
Sí se puede.
Si se puede.
Pretty.
Land back.
Man back.
Beautiful. Let's go to the next story. Did anybody have anything to say about that? No? All right.
Wait,
Yeah, I lost focus.
before we move on, like we need a couple more donations.
Good call, Jorly.
Necesitamos algunas donaciones, mi gente, por favor. Puede ser $1, $2, cualquier cosa que tengan. Por favor, donen. Es muy importante que puedan aportar lo que puedan para así ayudar a nuestra comunidad, and we can aim to getting our land back, tener nuestras tierras de nuevo.
Period. You see how the enemy is well organized, right?
And don't forget to like us on Facebook, subscribe to our YouTube channel, please, and thank you, so you can continue to maintain connected through us and keep yourselves updated.
Mhm.
All right. Can I see a 5? Can I see $1?
Be sure to like us on Facebook, subscribe to us on YouTube. Okay, so you can get that good.
My mom just donated 10, so who can match her? Who can match my mama?
Vamos, let's keep that money going, y'all. A nuestros hermanos latinos, donde necesito ver el dinero flowing and going, y'all.
Can we say a little bit about Hammer City in Spanish? Jorly, I feel like
¿Qué es Hammer City, Girasol?
No, I'm asking you to do it because I'm gonna triple my words if I do it.
Bueno, Hammer City es una comunidad que ya hemos estado cultivando, creciendo, localizado en la Florida. En Hammer City no se paga renta, pues nosotros pagamos renta, porque a esta altura, en nuestras tierras, nosotros no pagamos renta, mi gente. Nosotros nos ayudamos nosotros mismos. We help each other, we're growing. So in order for us to continuar creciendo y cultivando esta comunidad que hemos creado en Florida, necesitamos todas sus aportaciones, por favor y gracias. ¿Qué más, Girasol? ¿Qué más se puede decir de Hammer City?
No sé, pero wait, sorry, I keep getting distracted by the comments. It's like my aunties. Hola, tía. Gracias.
Pero no, yo creo también es un proyecto para ayudar a todos,
A todos.
Y también
donations. We got Según, we got
y también no solamente nos vamos a hacer el primero en Florida, pero antes de eso nos vamos a hacer en todo, queremos hacer en todo, también en Panamá, también en Colombia, en todos los países.
Claro.
Eso es que yo quería hacer.
That's right. Esto no solamente en Florida, tratamos de amplificar este proyecto en múltiples localizaciones. So, con su ayuda, con su aportación, podemos hacer esto posible, mi gente, por favor. $10 para las reparaciones. Eso, tenemos 5. We got 5.
Okay, thank you, Chief Toby. Thank you.
All right.
Okay, Jorly.
Indigenous TikTok star Michelle Schaub embraces vulnerability in her videos. A combination of global wildlife threatening climate change and a severe lack of access to affordable food in reservation communities has further fueled systematic inequalities, threatening traditional subsistence culture that many First Nations rely on. The hunting also, it's a huge issue for us that non-natives are overhunting. We rely on our hunting resources because food prices in the north are way too high to buy, Michelle says. Oh boy. What do we think about this one? Let's watch
Okay, video.
Actually is a representation of me growing more into the culture.
She's only been on TikTok for 11 months, but Michelle Chubb has already garnered over 10 million likes. She's trying to use her platform for good.
I had trouble growing up, so I want to help those who are struggling. I want to inspire others.
Chubb, a 22-year-old Indigenous woman from Winnipeg, says she only really got to experience her culture when she was with her grandfather.
Growing up in the city, you get disconnected from your people and the culture and the traditions. It was just really hard.
After her grandfather passed, she began to have substance abuse issues and a loss of identity.
I was kind of lost. I was looking at other people. I was just like, how come this isn't me?
She decided to reconnect with her culture, and at the start of 2020, she shared that journey publicly on TikTok.
It means I love you. So go spread some love today.
People I know when I started thought we were extinct. So that was kind of like mind-blowing.
Sharing and spreading her culture has been the goal, and she's got over 300,000 followers and over 10 million likes in less than a year. Chubb was featured in Teen Vogue on Tuesday and hopes to continue bringing awareness to social activism, growing herself, and using her platform to help others grow as well. In Winnipeg, Mike Albanese, City News.
Dang, that's beautiful.
Amazing story. So, yeah, this I was gonna say sister. This comrade, this Indigenous woman has really gone through it. Like, and this really just heightens. This really like points to the contradiction, the really core contradiction, right? Like, we're out here begging to like, well, Indigenous people, our comrades in the Indigenous world are begging. And like, well, some of them are begging. Some of them are like, get the F off our land. But we're like, stop overhunting our, our animals so that we can mother freaking eat. Like, so this is about dictatorship over our land, life, labor, and resources. I want this Indigenous sister to come into Black Hammer and join the fight and not just talk about, try to convince these people to get off the land and stop overhunting, but like work with us to achieve that power where we will control our own land back.
Yeah, and also reconnect, because like she was saying that like she struggled with reconnecting with her culture, especially after her grandfather died. Like we have so many Indigenous people like from different parts of the country. Like that's another way to reconnect too, is like really connecting with other, even if they aren't the same exact like from the same exact like lineage or from the same exact societies as you, like you can also still like reconnect with other Indigenous people. And that's, I think, something I've really learned in Black Hammer too, is like reconnecting with like other Indigenous people of not just Turtle Island, but of the world, really. So
right.
And that question of like hunting and food sovereignty and everything like that. Like, I think sometimes when I tell people about, Black Hammer and it's like, or Hammer City, and it's like, oh, you're just going to buy this land. And then what's like the next step? Like, what's the point? And when you really think about it, it's like everything comes back to the land. You get food from the land. You know what I mean? You get resources from the land. So that question of like hunting, and not having food, like food deserts and things like that. Like, why, you know what I mean? Why is it so hard to find healthy food in the middle of the hood? Why is it so hard to find even just a regular grocery store? Like, stuff's so processed and they're just feeding us poison. And if we have our own land where we can grow our own food or hunt ourselves, you know what I mean? Then we have complete control over what we eat. Like, you could just wake up in the morning. Okay, you know what? I feel like eating some oranges. We're going to be in Florida, so we get some oranges, avocados, plátanos. We can go some plátanos in Florida, mommy.
Campana. Gallinas.
All right. Our final story. Juana Chasing Horse is fighting to save the Arctic National Wildlife Refuge. She slays. So this, and she works with her mother as well on this. So this mother-daughter duo represents the decades-long fight to protect their state, Alaska's Arctic National Wildlife Refuge. The Arctic, dubbed ground zero for climate change, is warming at a rate twice as fast as the rest of the world. The region is at even greater risk since the unprecedented decision by 45 and congressional Republicans to open the refuge's coastal plain to oil and gas development. So, yeah.
Wow. This kind of, yeah, climate change is real, y'all. Like, I don't know, like, why people aren't taking this seriously. Well, I do know why, they're just dumb. But anyway, or like they need to get some political education, one of those two things. But yeah, even these like hurricanes in Guatemala and in Panama también, like they've been, like there was that really bad hurricane not too long ago, like they've been getting so much worse, and the impact is like really being seen, not just in Panama, but like they said in the Arctic too. So
see, mommy, yeah, that's why you got to join Black Hammer, mommy, so we can be the mother-daughter duo 100%.
Yes, mother duo, yes.
Muy motivadas.
She basically in it. All right, Jorly.
All right. So as we were mentioning before, we definitely need the help that we can to keep building Hammer City, y'all. So don't forget to donate. Don't forget to share our information on social media. Build Hammer City on Cash App and Venmo. And if you need further information on this amazing project that we're trying to expand not only in Florida, but in Panama, like we were saying, in Colombia, in Puerto Rico. We need to keep those donations going, y'all. So, like I said, GoFundMe.com/BuildHammerCity and Cash and Venmo Build Hammer City as well.
Absolutely. So,
get your freedom, join Black Hammer today.
Period.
So, if you unite with what you be hearing and you're not yet a member, thank you, Chief I. Join this collective. Join this collective of passionate, revolutionaries. Like we are a volunteer-based organization. None of us is getting paid. The payment is to know that we are building a future for our people, because there is no real one for the poor and working class, the colonized proletariat, right? They view us as the batteries. One of our chiefs had this beautiful metaphor: we're the batteries in the machine of capitalism, right? We are trash to them. We get used up to build the system, and when we die, when we're killed by the system, we're disposed of, and they get a new battery to push this system. So it's not for us, and we got to build our own, which is what the science of dual power is about: building our own system that will contend with this mainstream system and ultimately win. So yeah, join us, blackhammer.org/join.
Right. And it's an investment, really, like y'all, like, you know what I mean? You put in $5, $10 here, and then you know that you're gonna be able to come to Hammer City and live on liberated land and move towards the revolution. Like once we get all the land back, you know what I mean? You get all that money back, like it's money, resources back, I guess. You know what I mean? So you gotta donate.
Land back. All right, guys. So on Sundays, we have our class for our colonizadores, for our colonizers. It's from every Sunday, 6 to 8 p.m. And it's $25 per class just to educate yourselves, to all my whites, to all my colonizers, colonizadores. Es tiempo de educarse, es tiempo de despertar, es tiempo que se eduquen y sepan en su lugar. Period. So, por favor, let's spread these news to our colonizing friends so we can continue educating.
Right. And, they could take all these other, like, whatever, allyship classes, but unless they're anti-colonial, it's not anything.
That's right.
Yes, of course. Yeah, Black Hammer has the ultimate answer and the ultimate move with Hammer City. So yes, also if you would like to also support us, if maybe you don't got some that much money, you can also submit some artwork for Black Hammer's new zine. We have basically the theme is how has colonization affected you? You know, in relation, even from this show, you've seen some of the effects that colonization has had on the world, on these people, these specific stories. So, you know, we want to know how it's affected you personally, and that those zines will help to raising money and fundraise for also Hammer City. So, yeah, use your imagination, even if you don't really know how to like draw or anything like that. Like maybe I'm not very, I'm okay at drawing, but you know, I'm still gonna try to do something like, you know, just yeah.
Definitely uniting with that.
Yes, and all the funds from this zine go straight to Hammer City, and you know what I mean? You could use your art to advance the revolution. And also, like, I can't wait to actually buy the zine and see, like, how, because you know what I mean? I've already talked about how art has, you know, reconnected me to my ancestors, has brought me closer to revolution and everything like that. So if I could see my comrades and, like, people that I know, like, talking about how, you know what I mean? Like, how we can get free from the system through art, like, that's so powerful.
Absolutely. Okay, again, remember to like and subscribe. We're building our following, our viewership, both on Facebook and on YouTube. And back.
And back.
And on Instagram and on Twitter. You know, we everywhere.
Everywhere.
So.
Ooh, B submitted something.
I'm excited to see what you submitted.
I'm excited to take a look and submit myself, y'all, because I got a lot of revolutionary work in my hard drive. So I'm excited.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for joining us tonight. Familia.
De nada.
Te amo, tía. Te amo, Ellie.
Went back, y'all.
Las amamos mucho.
Went back. Regresando a nuestras tierras.
Regresando a nuestras tierras.
Regresar a nuestras tierras.